Welcome to the Lyman Lipke Guitarcast. I'm your host, Lyman Lipke. It's the Q&A edition. Still in the middle of Hell Week. It is Tuesday, and this will be going up on Thursday. So I'm about to hit the road and do a gig. So I gotta get something recorded. I'll probably edit this tomorrow. I've got Butterscotch Telly with me. If you haven't checked out my secret clubhouse yet, please do that. There will be a link in the description on YouTube and Spotify. Let's just jump into some questions. Got the housekeeping out of the way in a minute. Nice. First question. Can you explain how to use a metronome to practice scales on 2 and 4? Metronome on 2 and 4, like I always thought, that's something very simple. And then I started preaching it to my students, and they found some difficulties. You really have to feel the metronome. You have to have a pretty good sense of time to be able to play on 2 and 4. So to start off, just play on every beat. I use my looper as a metronome. 2, 3, 4. So practice getting every other note to happen at the exact same time as that click. That's important. And then you can move to 2 and 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's a useful trick to get used to 2 and 4. Because a lot of people, when they start out, they hear downbeats. 1, 3, 4, 1. So we can feel it like that to start. Except we're not going to say 1 when we count out loud. We're going to say 2. 2. 2. I'm feeling it in 2 and 4. Da. Ba. 2. 4. 2. 4. So you're saying 2, 4. And then you can fill in the 3. 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. And then, once you're there, you can add in the 1 and then change where you're accenting it. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're feeling the metronome on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same way. So that's, the basic way to practice scales and build time. I like to play rhythms, small rhythms, like 2 8th notes and an 8th rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of hard to do that without a metronome because it starts to feel like swing triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. But if we're feeling that against 4, 4. And the metronome is great for starts of notes, but it's time. The start of notes is only part of time. The other part is when do the notes end. You should have absolute control of the cutoffs of your notes. So I will cut off on 2, 3, 4. I'll try to cut off on the and of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'll cut off. I'm not sure if I was getting that. I'll cut off on the and of 2. Actually, no, because I'm playing every other beat. So you can use a metronome for your cutoffs as well. 2 and 4, get comfortable with that by playing in 4/4 and then doing the 2-3-4 thing. Then play your scales evenly with the metronome. Then add some rhythm games and then focus on the cutoffs. That's how you practice with a metronome, I think. Next question. What's your favorite chord progression? These days it's been turn around to 2. And then a little 2-5-1. This is another turn around to 2. Another turn around to 2. And they're all pretty much interchangeable. Depending on what's happening in the melody. But like in the blowing section, when you're improvising, you throw in a different turnaround to 2 and see if people get mad or people have an involuntary woo. That is the best feeling when you get one of those. I'd like to hear your take on how to be a good musician in a band and just general socializing. How to be a good musician in a band. Prepare. Like, show up prepared. Don't waste rehearsal time. You waste rehearsal time. That's a cardinal sin. Don't do that. Number 2, like, be a decent human being to hang around. Like, check your ego at the door. Like, you can have an ego the size of Mount Everest. Just don't let people know. That's one. The thing that ruins a lot of bands isn't the musicianship. It's like being unpleasant to be around. It's a lot easier to work on your guitar skills than it is to work on your people skills and your social skills and your just general vibe, because we're informed by everything that happened in our life ever, and be that some sort of trauma or some sort of false sense of superiority, and every other thing that could happen in your life. Like those are hard habits to change, because that's literally who we are. Getting better at your instrument is a lot easier compared to that. You just practice efficiently if you want to get better quicker. General socializing, just listen. Listen when people talk. Don't wait for somebody to stop talking just to respond. Actually listen. And actually care about what people have to say. I would say, or make them think that you care about what they have to say, but it's really hard to fake that. Really hard to fake like you care about what somebody has to say when you don't care. Just be a good person. That's the crux of it. Be a good dude or dudette. What other things? As far as musicianship goes in a band, like, serve the music. Don't try to serve, like, your ego. Trying to, play the coolest thing or get your spotlight. Whatever the song needs, that's what you do. Try to stay out of other people's way musically. And when you get little spots like that you can carve out, do your cool things there. The music allows it. It's one guitar player I used to play with said, "Let's find the pockets to exploit." So, yeah, like, really, music and people stuff just comes down to good listening skills. Next question. Best songs and solos to get started, or just to practice scales for jazz. It's sort of you need both. Like, the scales, it's just basic mechanical operation of the instrument. Scales will help you get there quicker, like, rather than trial and error. But learn lots of melodies as well, and you can link them together. Like, can you play a melody in a certain scale position? That was Satin Doll in what I call the sixth position of C major. You could also play it in the third position. Also play it in any position. So learn good melodies. Good tunes: Satin Doll, Blue Bossa, Autumn Leaves, Fly Me to the Moon. Very strong melodies. Also, All the Things You Are. And also work on, like I was talking about in the previous podcast, melodic cells, like little melodic ideas. And being able to string those together. I get my little melodic ideas just from all over the place. Video game music, cool thing I heard a soloist do in a jazz tune. And I try to move that all over the fingerboard. And I'm announcing that I'm working on a book full of melodic cells in all of the positions of C. So that's coming up at some point. Thoughts about bossa nova, because you're a Brazilian, and samba. I like bossa nova and samba. However, culturally, I am white. So anything that I do bossa nova wise, like, I think it's just a gross approximation. So that's sort of like the 2-3 clave. I don't know if guitar players are supposed to do that. I can do the 3-2 clave. And from what my understanding, samba, like, from my gross white understanding, samba is like fast bossa nova, kind of like ska is fast reggae. I love the music, the rhythms, even though I don't know too many of them. But the chord progressions are beautiful. take the A train as a samba in F. Girl from Ipanema. All right. What's a simple routine that you recommend that's not even 10 minutes? Going through all of the positions of the major scale in whatever positioning system you use. I use 3-note per string. And that probably took me less than a minute. So if you're in C major, and you can use any system for this, I'll use the caged 5 fingerings. You can play the alphabet game. First note that you play, figure out that letter, G. And then say the alphabet, you get to G, go back to A. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Do that for all the positions. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like, do that 10,000 times. Maybe not that fast. And look at your hand while you do that, and it'll build the connection that when you put your finger down here, that has something to do with the letter A, because it's an A note. We're building a connection. We're hacking a connection in our brain via brute force. So, do that 3 times. That's a great 10-minute routine. If you don't know where all the notes are on the guitar at a glance, which is a very hard thing to do, I have found. Working with my students. And if you haven't hit 10 minutes, put an exercise in there within those scale positions. Thirds. Thirds in all 5 positions of caged. I've been using this podcast to learn the 5 fingerings and caged. I gotta convert a lot of my exercises to that framework because all of my documentation is in 3-note per string, which if anybody's got Guitar Pro and wants to do some conversion for me, you can have access to a bunch of my documents, and I'll throw in some lessons for you. So that's a possibility. But yeah, that's not even in 10 minutes. Like, just go through your positions of C and do a little bit of extra. Like, my 10-minute routine as of late has been the 7 positions with this exercise. And that's just enclosures. My 5-note enclosure rules. Everybody's hitting me up. What is my method of moving ideas to different positions on the guitar? Just play them in the different positions. So, like, being able to play this melody. That's in the 5th position, 6th position, 7th position, 1st position, 2nd position. Be able to play it in all of the positions. and playing an idea like a melodic cell, diatonically. Here's a real simple one, relatively simple. Diatonic seventh chords go down the scale. Skipping every other note, down the scale. Now we're one note above where we started, so we can repeat that same melodic contour. Seventh chord down the scale, seventh chord down the scale. You can do it in reverse as well. And then do that in all the positions. So we had this idea in the fourth position with a 2 on middle seventh chord arpeggio. And I've got the video explaining my idea on fingerings for triad and seventh chord arpeggios coming soon. So, had this idea in the fourth position, got it in the fifth position. Next time we've got a G, would be in the seventh position, and it's an octave up. And then I have the same exact fingering in the first position as I did down here. So these two are alike. Gets different whenever we have to cross the B string. Where it would be the first time we cross the B string. That's in the fourth position, in the fifth position, in the sixth position. In the first position, second position, third position. So doing something diatonically, learning it in an entire position, and then moving it through the 7 positions or the 5 positions. That's how I move my ideas around. I do them everywhere. It's a very completionist way of thinking. It's not for everyone because it kind of sucks. But I just want everything available wherever I am on the guitar. If I have an idea, I want to be able to play it regardless of where my left hand sits. See a lot of times, especially with arpeggio exercises, they'll shift up. So for audio onlys, I'm playing a 2 on high arpeggio. 1 note on the G string, 1 note on the B string, 2 notes on the E string. And that same contour on all the those arpeggios. So it's always 1, 1, 2. When really that was all in one position. So being able to do both is very useful. But if you practiced in all 7 positions, you'll know all of the fingerings for keeping a similar arpeggios set. 2 on low, 2 on high, 2 on middle, and across 4 for 7th chords. More jazz lessons, please. I want to improvise my solos in jazz style. Don't you worry. Lots of jazz lessons are coming on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and YouTube long form. Like right here. I talk about jazz all the time. People ask about jazz all the time. So definitely check out the podcast. There'll be a clip I'm sure. Let's see what other questions I have. I think I just have one more. Really looking forward to tips to open up scales for freestyle jazz. I assume freestyle jazz you mean like just improvising rather than free jazz, which is improvising with fewer rules, collective improvisation. So again, like everybody's always looking for the coolest new scale that they can use that'll magically make their improvisation sound like jazz. And there I mean really isn't any. Like you could use the bebop scale. Which is a major scale with an added sharp 5. It's the major bebop scale. But if you don't know what to do with the major scale, you're not going to know what to do with the bebop scale. So you got to learn the things to do with just the major scale. Good swing feel. Chad Lefkowitz Brown, Chad LB on YouTube, has a great video on jazz articulation for saxophones. So I don't play the saxophone, but I tried to take as much of that concept as possible and put it on the guitar. He calls it duden tonguing. That's what you play when you ascend lines. You call it duden tonguing because that's what the notes should sound like if you're ascending a scale. Duden, 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 duden. So you're almost choking the second note a little bit. And you got to be real careful with that. Because if you put that real heavy triplet feel on that, it's going to sound like you swing like a barn door. Or an old church lady grandma. So practicing the swing articulation without changing the swing percentage per se, like making him 50-50 eighth notes. And we got the ascending. Duden, 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 duden. The descending is a little bit different because a lot of people will say, like, just put a little bit extra on the upbeats, on everything. And it changes. Like, that's not really how Bird played his swing eighth notes ascending. Descending, we do put a little bit of extra on the upbeats. And we can think of that as ooh-da. Doo-dun, 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 ooh-da, 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 ooh. So make your scales try to sound like that. And it's real tricky. I mean, an economy picker. I use economy picking. So anytime I change strings towards the floor, downstroke. Anytime I change strings towards the ceiling, upstroke. Otherwise, it's alternate picking. So it's easy here, like downstroke. up, down, up, down, up, down. But right here, I'd play a downstroke. So, gotta make that downstroke a little bit lighter. And then harder on the upstroke. And it would change for positions. I'm playing in the 7th position, so C is the middle note on the low E string. If I put C on the bottom, go to 1st position, down, up, down, down, hard down, soft down, hard up, soft down, hard down, soft up, and I'd take a little bit off this one. And even like playing it like even 8th notes, it's starting to swing a little bit. So you can just nudge it a little bit, like 55-45 or 60-40, as your swing percentage goes. And like that, like that's swinging as far as I'm concerned. I mean, those aren't, that's not a quarter note triplet and 8th note triplet. That's a lot closer together. And the other thing you gotta know for scales is chromaticism. And when people hear chromaticism, they're thinking, oh, I can just play any random note. Not quite. There are systems of chromaticism that have been used for a long time. In jazz. Like we've got chromatic enclosures. And articulating those like they swing as well. So do, da. Anytime something goes twisty-turny like that, I default to da for my articulation. Those are my enclosure rules, and I'll make a document for purchase on my website. Just systems of chromaticism. That's one that I like. The enclosure rules. The other is the Barry Harris chromatic scale. So it's like a chromatic scale, but in a key. So we're putting diatonic tones in the downbeats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Nothing in between there in Western music, so we have to put a rhythmic placeholder, which just a diatonic tone above. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Again, rhythmic placeholder. That's the Barry Harris chromatic scale. Ascending. Descending, a rhythmic placeholder is a chromatic tone below. And that just puts your scale tones on the downbeats. So you could be playing a scale line, finish it out with Barry Harris chromatic. Or start a line with Barry Harris chromatic and then finish it with a scale fragment. Or, Barry Harris chromatic into an arpeggio. I was screwing up the position there. got this little thing I like to call chromatic swings. I need a better name for it. Anytime you got a whole step, go up, put a half step in between, and then go back down. And I want the chromatic tone that precedes a diatonic tone to be on the same string. So A at the 5th fret would be moving to B diatonically. So I want that B flat or A sharp to be on the A string. Now this B flat is going to A, so I want that to be on the E string. For minor thirds, just go up a minor, or for half steps, just go up a minor third, and then down chromatically. That's probably how I'd finger that one. So, like, I'll do that, like, into an arpeggio all the time. Linking all those together, like, all of that stuff exists within the major scale. So get comfortable with your scale patterns. That is how we use scales to sound more like jazz. We just play more like jazz, and use jazz patterns with the same scales that everybody else uses. That's it for today. I gotta hit the road. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Always available for lessons. And yeah, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!